Hello and welcome to another edition of Know Your Schools. My name is Dale Caffey. My special guest today is Sandra Gibson. She is the new dean of the Atlas Academy. Atlas Academy is a middle school gifted and talented program. It's for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, and it's located on the campus of Tennyson Middle School. Sandra, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
And congratulations on your new position as the dean of the Atlas Academy. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but first let's get to know you a little bit better for both me and the viewers at home.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your educational career.
I began in Waco ISD in 1994 at Carver. I stayed there with Miss Malloy for about 7 years and then decided to make the jump to high school. So at that point I taught at Waco High, starting out as an ESL teacher and then Spanish teacher, and then ended a couple of years ago as the IB coordinator there and then testing coordinator. Then I had the opportunity last year to come over to University High as an assistant principal and enjoyed my year, and then was given this opportunity to become Dean of Atlas for this upcoming year. So
Very
really
good.
excited.
And again, we'll talk more about the Atlas Academy in just a moment, but for those that don't know, you are the daughter of Dr. Rudy Lopez.
Yes, yes.
A name that's very well known at Waco ISD, a longtime principal at University High School is what he's noted for, and
Yes.
he still works for the district today, in fact, at the administrative building. But talk about growing up in Dr. Lopez's, Rudy's family.
It was very interesting. I was able to see the passion and the drive that he had for the kids. I always, from the time that I can remember, wanted to be a teacher. I entertained the thought of going into law, but once I began in the educational realm, that's where I stayed. It was interesting. It was demanding at times, but I mean, it was very rewarding as well.
And being the daughter of a high school principal, you saw the long hours, I think,
Yes.
that it takes to be a high school principal,
Yes, yes.
or a principal really anywhere.
Yes, yes. You know, we spent many weekends before school started in the book room and helping him get things going so the school year could get going smoothly for his teachers.
Very good. You mentioned 1 year as an assistant principal right here in
Yes.
this building that we're at right now,
Yes.
and that's University High
Yes, sir.
School. Talk about that year last year that you had.
I had an incredible year. I had a really strong administrative team that I worked with. We worked really well together. The kids were a pleasure. I was in charge of the 2015 cohort, 10th graders. And worked with those teachers as well, and I learned so much this past year that I'm going to take with me as the Dean of Atlas, and so I enjoyed it immensely.
I understand it was a tough decision for you to make, having been
Yes.
here only 1 year, but then given that opportunity. So talk a little bit about what you had to think about before you took the job over at the Tennyson Middle School Atlas program.
You know, I had to think about, you know, what are my career goals? You know, ultimately I do want to move upward. And the experience that I could gain here at Atlas, I think, kind of outweighed. You know, there's some things, being the dean, that I wouldn't be able to experience if I would have stayed as an assistant principal at University High. But it was a very hard decision. It was a struggle.
Right. Talk about your job as a dean. What is that going to be? How do you understand that?
It is working with the teachers and the students with our School Within a School program. Mr. Hanna is the building principal, and in our program, you know, I've already started looking over curriculum, hiring teachers, I mean, you know, all the things, but on a much smaller scale that a principal would do. But I just have the little, you know, the dean of Atlas is just working with that Atlas program. So just being a support system, you know, resource person, going into classrooms, working with teachers and kids.
And of course, your student body are those children, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders who've been identified as gifted and talented,
that's
pretty much. And so do you enjoy that type of student, working with the students that really you need to keep busy because you know, they learn so fast
yeah.
that they can get bored real easy?
Yeah, and when I taught at Waco High, that is the group that I predominantly interacted with. I taught a lot of pre-AP and AP courses there. So, you know, those are things that I'm hoping to bring to Atlas, you know, that wealth of knowledge and experience to help the teachers and help the students reach, I guess, the next level. You know, we talk about scores and class grades and such. The kids already have that capability. We're wanting to take them to the next level so
Right.
they can become, commended in all aspects.
This will only be the second year of the Atlas Academy,
Yes.
but they had a fantastic first year.
Yes.
In fact, you were named the second to replace Jessica Hicks, who
Yes.
moved over to Lake Air Montessori School. You were named her replacement before the end of the school year.
Yes, sir.
So that's a little bit advantageous for you because you're not diving into this for the first time. You had a little taste of Atlas, right?
Yes, the last 2 or 3 weeks of school, I was allowed to, go over there and spend a couple of days and work and have meetings, and so got to know a little of the inner workings. The last week of school, which is kind of hectic, I was able to go into classrooms and talk, speak with students and meet with teachers. So that was good, I thought, before the end of the school year to kind of get that head start before August.
But you learned pretty quickly, I think, about the success that program had this past year. Boy, they had a great first year, I would think.
It was phenomenal, and there were some kids in the summertime that went to the history fair that made it to DC, and so
Right.
we hope to do that again next year and add even more kids. So
You also had 4 students recognized by Duke Talent Search
Yes,
this
sir.
past year. How exciting is that to know that that can continue?
yes, I'm excited about that continuing, not only continuing but growing. So I mean, it's exciting. The program is exciting to me.
Right. You had a chance to meet some of the teachers that you had there, but you also had to replace some because that happens as we have turnover each and every year in the district.
Yeah.
Talk about how busy you've been this summer.
We've been rather busy. We just did our last hire yesterday. So we were busy trying to find the right people because a lot of hiring teachers is not only just getting someone to fill the spot, but someone that that will work well with the team of teachers that we already have in place and also has that same vision for Atlas and the kids. So I think we picked some really phenomenal people to replace the ones that were leaving.
Very good. You also, and of course we're airing this before school begins, we'll be airing this interview during the school year, but right now as we're airing this, you're preparing for a very special camp for incoming 6th graders, I believe.
Yes. We actually started with just incoming 6th graders, and then we have a handful of 7th and 8th graders that will be new to the program as well that we're inviting. But they are, it's a transition camp. What are some rules, policies, procedures, things that you need to know at Atlas before we get started. We have 3 big days planned. LTREC has decided to come on board as one of our adopt-a-school partners for Tennyson. So they're using that sort of as the springboard event for, what they have done. A lot of leadership activities, a lot of team building that first day that they're going to take total charge of. The teachers are going to help facilitate that. Second day we have the Center for Development and Learning coming and doing learner profilers so the kids can understand how they learn best, how they should study, what are some things to expect, strengths, weaknesses, and they'll go home with that report. And then a big part of Atlas is the service learning. So we're going to bring that project in with some gardening and beautifying. So I look forward to having that as a springboard for the year.
Now, on top of having the special curriculum for GT students there's also some interesting courses that those kids get to take during the course of the year.
Yes.
Talk about those.
Those are mini courses. They're offered just a variety of topics. My understanding was last year we had sewing and cooking as some ones that you wouldn't think that were hits, but were. We're looking at redoing some of those. We've hired 5 teachers that bring a different skill set than the ones we had previously. So keeping some of the same mini courses, but then we're overhauling and adding some new ones as well.
Yeah, talk about the new hires this summer. You feel real good about the people you were able to find?
Yes. We're very fortunate in who we had hired and how they came about. We had some that were moving back into the area and needed a job. One of them was a radio disc jockey in the 90s here. So, he has some ideas for mini courses I think, some really neat things. We have a guy that got out of the military and is in school, teaching, has gone into education, and he has a wealth of knowledge and experience to bring to the kids as well. We have a master gardener that we've brought on board.
Oh, great.
And a technology guy that has just a wealth of knowledge to share as well. So I'm excited about what that can add to Atlas and.
And how many students are you expecting this year?
Around 300.
Okay. Is that about the cap? Do we have a cap for that campus?
It's usually about 100 per grade level. There might be a little less in some and a little more in others, but generally try to get around the 300 mark.
But you made an interesting point a moment ago, is not all of the students will be incoming, new students will be incoming 6th graders.
Yes, sir.
So if there are parents out there who might have next year a 6th grader who might be at another campus and says, you know what, Mom or Dad, I'd like to try that Atlas thing. and
And that they would
talk about that.
Then they would go through the normal, there's the applications that are online, and you know, the first criteria is that they have to be gifted and talented. After that, there's an application process. They fill out the application and have 3 teacher references, and then based on that, we have a rubric that guides us to let us know, you know, would this be a good candidate for Atlas, and that's how they are selected.
I think it's important to know also that the Atlas student on campus and the Tennyson student on campus, you really can't tell them apart. They have the same dress code. Some of them have some other classes together, especially the
Yes.
fine arts and things. So talk about how the students really mingle together and really become a part of the Tennyson Middle School.
Yeah, because we are Tennyson, and you know, that's one of the things. In speaking with the public, that's been, well, how does that work? Well, we are Tennyson. It's just a program that runs within Tennyson. We have several kids that are in athletics, fine arts, the orchestra, theater. You know, they take Spanish, they take different courses outside. It's generally the 4 core areas, and then the mini course that's taken in our portion of the building, and then they can go out, so to speak,
Right.
with others. And so, you know,
Yeah, it's very important to stress that these Atlas students get to play a part in athletics, fine arts, just like you said. And
Yes.
so they become a well-rounded student.
yes, that is very important with the GT kids to become challenged and well-rounded.
Very good. Tell me about the excitement that you're having right now as you face the 2013-14 school year.
I mean, there's so many things in so many different directions that we can go. I'm excited. I think we're just focusing on a couple this year, and you know, wanting to enhance what's been done with the history fair, what's been done with the Duke Talent, augmenting the things that are in place, you know, to help us be successful and add to Tennyson. So.
And one of the other things is that I know that they actually came to you and said, would you be interested in applying for this job as Dean of the Atlas Academy? You mentioned it was a tough struggle to think about it. You finally decided that, yes, I'll go for it. You were chosen as the principal. So they saw something in you. And so how does that make you feel as you head into this new school year?
It makes me feel encouraged, because, you know, first of all, you have that support and the belief that, yeah, they can see that I can lead and do, you know, what Jessica had started last year, and just continue to move forward and make it, you know, even greater. I think each year we'll have greater success.
Great.
To build upon.
Well, Sandra Gibson, I wish you all the best of luck
Okay.
here at your first year at Atlas Academy.
Yes.
It's year number 2 for the Atlas Academy. This is Sandra Gibson. She's the new dean at the Atlas Academy. It's located on the campus of Tennyson Middle School. We'll see you next time with another edition of Know Your Schools.
Thank you.